Wait, okay. Good morning, everybody. A little bit late in that or early. I'm Vern Tepe. It's 9 o'clock here on Tuesday, May 20th. It is the Kane County Transportation Committee meeting. Can we have roll call, please?
Berman,
Berman's here.
Iqbal, Tice,
Highest present.
Leonard,
Leonard here.
Roth,
Roth here.
Williams, Doherty. Do
Tony here.
Tepe here.
you have an in-person quorum?
Have a remote request for Mr. Doherty. Any objection? No. Okay. Welcome aboard, formally, Mr. Doherty. I have a or a request to approve the minutes for April 15th.
Mr. Chairman, this is Caius. I would
Caius?
request unanimous consent for the approval of the minutes from April 15th, 2020.
Any objections? Okay. Welcome, Mr. Williams. Good morning.
Apologies for my tardiness.
Well, you're on time. We were early. Okay. No objection. The minutes are approved. Do we have any public comment? Okay. So, finance report for the second month, Ms. Young.
The finance report is included in the committee packet. We also have the 26 budget open now, so we're going to start working on keying that information in. If you guys have questions, let us know.
Well, we're letting you off easy. Is that it? Okay. And then Mr. Rickard, I believe you have a brief presentation.
Yeah, just wanted to, my apologies. I just wanted to talk a little bit more about the budget. These are some of the budget calendar dates. As Ashley stated, over the next few weeks, we're going to be entering the budgetary data into New World. And on June 17th, we'll do a slight presentation that kind of gets into some of the various aspects of the budget. And then on the 27th, all data as well as our 2026 mission and outcome forms are due, as well as our position forms. And then from July through August, the draft budget consideration by the Transportation Committee. And then in August, the budget will be presented to the Finance Committee. So this is the calendar that's currently moving forward with whatever appropriate adjustments from the county board in the near future. Obviously, there will be some Finance Committee meetings too in the near future. Just a couple quick things. Our mission statements here, as well as some of our goals, trying to work on safety and increasing personal mobility, such as riding cane. Our planning efforts with CMAP, as well as the Council of Mayors in regards to federal funding, enhancement of the environment, as well as efficiency of our transportation system. As that efficiency is improved, it helps to extend the life of a lot of the current aspects of our system. Guiding documents. Most of you probably already know this, but our annual budget from 2025, that budget feeds into our 2026 budget because there's tens of millions of dollars of carryovers that will occur as many projects take 2 to 3 years to actually go through the programming and the financial process until we do the final invoice. We also have the 2050 long range plan, which is guidance from the board, and the TIP that was recently adopted by the county board. That TIP for FY 2026 will be our starting point. The CRIP, that's the use of the impact fees. We utilize that too because we need to continue to make sure we're expending those funds and they can only be spent on certain projects. And then the ADA requirements of the federal process, as well as the court process, we have to address certain things. IDOT requires that we look at ADA components as we're even resurfacing a roadway. And then bicycle and pedestrian plan, we look at, as well as our paratransit program. General information, we use no general revenue funds. All of our funds are special revenue as well as grant funds. Our property tax levy has had no increase I think this is the 13th year where it's remained flat, about $5.4 million for 13 years. All of the increases in the property tax levies automatically go to the general fund. None of it goes to our funds. Personnel, we have a total positions of 71. Filled positions, we're at 67 currently. So we have 4 vacancies. 3 of those are engineering vacancies that are currently assisted with on-call engineering contracts. And then we have 1 construction tech position. So those are the 4 vacancies we currently have. At this point in time, we're looking at trying to retain that, but obviously if the county board looks at us to start looking at removal of those, we will look at that as well as kind of give you the pros and cons of doing that, because there are costs associated with having to hire outside engineering firms to do that work. And then we're also seeking to bring back part-time positions. The snowbird positions and intern positions were cut from the budget at the last minute last year. Those intern positions are very helpful to hire college students to assist us in data collection, as well as the snowbirds are important during the winter operations in order to assist our maintenance and having the staffing that we need for plowing during the winter operations. So we're seeking to put those back in the budget. We've really worked hard to not come to the county board and ask for a budget change this year. But it has been difficult for us not having those positions in our budget. 85% of the budget is projects. We've got more than 150 projects that are currently in process. Most of those are maintenance, structural and pavement maintenance projects, et cetera. So they're in various stages: engineering, right-of-way, construction, as well as invoicing. I've explained this probably a number of times, but a lot of our federal projects, there are times where we will not even be invoiced for the county's portion of that project until years after the fact. And so we have to carry over from year to year tens of millions of dollars or at least millions of dollars, depending on what projects are out there. We carry over those monies because when that invoice comes in, we have to pay the invoice. Most projects are obligations or required due to the final invoicing that I just talked about, as well as safety, maintenance, various agreements that we have with other agencies, and then federal funding commitments. We have 9 primary transportation funds. This used to be, last year, it was 17 transportation funds. The impact fees have been reduced down to 3 funds that all the impact fee funds go into, while there used to be 11 funds. And that's all I have for this month. Obviously, next month, you'll see more detail because a significant portion of that will be put into New World for the initial, I think they call it reading, actually. I don't know what they call it, but there's 3 stages of input for the budget process within New World.
Oh, and you got a photo of one of our new trucks?
This is one of our new trucks, and yeah, it costs $300,000.
That might drive you.
And Mr. Roth, is Mr. Roth the designated driver?
Watch out. That looks. Part steamroller.
Truck number 1.
That just goes to show how, how we've done a great job of taking care of equipment and
Yes.
extending its life. Any other significant questions? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Rickert, with respect to the projects that are completed that we have money in hand and may not have to pay for a year or 2 years, you had mentioned that can be millions, if not tens of millions of dollars. What kind of interest are we getting on that money during that period of time that we're waiting to pay?
The money is still sitting within the county's accounts, and therefore whatever the treasurer's office is able to obtain.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay, let's go on. Mr. Ray.
Good morning, and the report will be the maintenance report, monthly report. just to highlight that we are starting our mowing of the county right away. Historically, we start about this week, but due to it being a little dry out there the last couple of weeks, we're gonna push it back till after, probably June 1st. This will be our second year of our new kind of mowing style we're doing. Historically, we've always mowed the whole right away. Now we're mowing one pass, and then right around the 4th of July, we're gonna mow another pass, and then in the fall, we mow it all down. We're doing that for the bees, the bunnies, and the butterflies and all that. And it worked really well last year. We did see a cost savings, so we're gonna keep trying that again this year and see if we see that same cost savings. Any questions on the report?
Resolution?
Yep. Next is I got one approval of adopt a highway. It's gonna be one new applicant at Russell Road and Oak Ridge Drive to Verna Drive. Staff recommends approval.
Roth will make the motion.
Roth moves.
Caius second.
Caius second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Caius,
Yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Doherty,
Doherty, yes.
Pepe.
Tuppy, yes.
Passes.
Okay. Mr. Way,
All right, next you'll see before you a resolution for purchasing of the 2026 ice control salt for the King County Division of Transportation and the participating government agencies. April 23rd, with the help of purchasing, we opened 5 bids for the 2025-2026 salt season. With that, the lowest bid was for treated salt was Cargill Incorporated at $93.83 per ton. And for dry salt, it was Salt Exchange out of Aurora for $83.50. In FY 24, we were paying $92.15 and $81.50. And then in FY 25, we were paying $86 and $76. FY 25, we had a little bit of a new vendor come in and they lowballed everyone. And they have since got out of the Illinois market for supplying salt. So we took full advantage of the low prices last year and we stocked up. We are anticipating the use of about 10,000 tons of salt next year. This year, even though winter was light, we did use approximately 9,500 tons. A lot of that is because when we had this type of weather this year, we end up using a little bit more because as it rains, it washes the salt off the road. We gotta go back out, reapply it. So we are anticipating about 10,000 tons needed next year. So the total appropriation is for $1,125,960. And that will cover our contract at 120%. I don't anticipate buying 120%, but that is what we are allowed per the contract. So staff recommends approval.
may I have a motion and a second to discuss?
Leonard will move.
Leonard moves.
Caius second.
Caius seconds. Any discussion? Mr. Caius?
The question, this salt includes that we supply to or provide for the townships as well?
Yes. So there's about 14 townships on this bid. They handle all their own purchasing, their own funding for that, and then they order it on themselves. And there is one village, the village of Carpentersville has joined our bid. So we are looking to expand, meeting with other villages and cities to try and get it a bigger bid. So maybe we can get better pricing in the future.
Thank
They're
you.
able to piggyback on our price?
Yes, yeah. So it's very common. McHenry County, Lake County, DePage County, they all do the same thing. The county hosts the bid and then everyone else piggybacks off and gets the same benefits. So the bigger the order, usually the better pricing we get, more competitive. So
Okay, any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Berman,
Yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Caius, yes.
Leonard,
Or yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Doherty,
Doherty, yes.
Pepe.
Steffi, yes. Who's next?
Heidi Faust. Good morning. In your packet is a planning and programming update. Just highlights from what some of our staff has been working on over the past month. You also have the most recent Gain Kendall Council and Mayor's newsletter that highlights different federal and state funding opportunities for transportation and also talks about some of the regional planning efforts going on. Under the impact fee program, you can see the fees that we've collected this quarter so far. It's a little misleading because in the North Impact Fee session, we had some reimbursements from Long Meadow Parkway. So normally we would not have collected $4.6 million this quarter. But we'll talk a little bit more about the impact fee program after this. We're also Ride and Cane. We oversee the Ride and Cane program. We register riders. We oversee the administration of this program. There are about 9,700 riders throughout the county right now registered for this program. And last month we provided just over 5,700 rides. We have a GIS and IT component in this department working on mapping and other GIS and IT projects. And then our staff also works with CMAP regularly on some of the regional efforts that also prepare Kane County to be eligible for federal funding when the notice of funding opportunities arise. If you have any questions, send me an email, give me a call. And the next item is a resolution approving an agreement with Parametrics for the impact fee ordinance and comprehensive route improvement plan update. But first, I'd like to just give a quick presentation on the impact fee program and why we're doing this. We talked about this last month. What is the impact fee program and how does it help the county? This program was established back in 2004 and it's governed by an Illinois state statute. The main idea is simple, new pays for the roadway improvements that are needed due to the increased traffic from that development. The fees can only be used for capacity improvements identified in the Comprehensive Road Improvement Plan. We also call that the CRIP. And since its inception, over $60 million have been generated, about $56 million in fees and then $4 million in interest. This program is very important because it serves, it leverages as a matching fund for our state and federal programs. So it's one of our few fund sources to service that local match. It's critical for delivering our capital projects and it helps reduce the burden on property taxes. The ordinance outlines a very clear process for the fee calculation process. And the county is divided into 3 service areas to reflect the local infrastructure needs. Those fees are proposed on the land uses and the traffic that is generated by that new development. We use the national standards from the Institute of Transportation Engineers for the trip generations per land use. And then staff calculates the fees based on the materials that the developers give to us. The fees are supposed to be collected at the time of the building permit or the certificate of occupancy. You can't see it exactly, but this is our fee schedule in CRIP. Right off the bat, back in 2022, the county board decided to give a 50% discount on the fees. And there are also other discounts available for demolition credits if you're demolishing a building or if you're improving. Also road improvements that a developer might be causing to occur as part of their development. There are discounts for mobility and for mixed use development. There's also an individual assessment as an option for unique developments. If a developer feels that the trip generation is incorrect, they don't like the national or what we've developed as part of our ordinance, and they think that their trip generation is going to be lower and they want to try and lower their fee, that is an option for the developer. They can come to us, they can do a traffic study, and they can apply for an individual assessment. There are also exemptions and discounts for charitable and public uses. They can be fully or partially exempt. There's an impact fee advisory committee that oversees the program and the process and provides recommendations to the county board. It is intended to be a public-private partnership. So we have a real estate sector representative. We have a regional economic development sector representative, someone from the labor sector, the home builders. We have 3 municipal representatives and 3 county board members. That's important because that impact fee advisory committee oversees the process to update. And we are now entering the time where we must, by statute, update the process. Every 5 years, we have to update it. It includes updates to the land use assumptions. So what we see occurring in the future, the CRIP, that Comprehensive Road Improvement Plan, the ordinance and the fee schedule. It involves stakeholder engagement and public hearings. Those are required by law. And then the advisory committee takes those comments, reviews them, discusses them, provides a recommendation to the county board. The county board then has the opportunity to accept, modify, reject, or adopt the recommendations from the advisory committee. We are updating the travel demand model. That's very important. It provides an accurate representation of what's going on. It also aligns with the CMAPS platform. That's extremely important when you're bringing in those land use assumptions. It'll also help us when we update our long-range plan, which is also required by state statute. The project is going to be about 20 months. So now we have the resolution. This is for a contract with Parametrics that will help us through the land use assumptions, the development of the comprehensive road improvement program, the updating of the travel demand model, development of the fee schedule, working with the impact fee advisory committee and the county board. And this is recommended by staff for approval.
May I have a motion and a second to discuss?
Caius,
Moves.
Caius second.
Berman moves, Kaya seconds. Any discussion? Mr. Leonard?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Heidi, with respect to the cost on this, it's 449,000. Is that for the 5-year study or the evaluation?
Sure. It's for the 5-year study and it includes, which is unique, it's a little bit more than last time because it includes a travel demand model update. We haven't done that in over 20 years. Our travel demand model is very out of date and you can't update it anymore. There aren't the components available. So it includes a new travel demand model, which is why it's a little bit higher, but this should last us 10 to 20 years. It also has some ongoing technical assistance. I think it's about $45,000 that we could utilize over the 5 years. If there's a developer that wants to contest their fee, we may need some engineering assistance to review that. So it will last us for the next 5 years.
Okay, that's great. With respect to in 22, when we reduce the impact fees by 50%, is that still in effect?
It's still in effect right now. Yes. I think there traditionally, historically has been some concern about maintaining the accurate. It was, I think, to cover up any potential accuracy issues, just also to encourage economic development.
Thank you.
Mr. Caius?
Yeah. And you probably remember better than me. It seemed like when I first got on the board, it was already 50%. Was it just, did I misremember that it was lowered at that time?
Tom?
Yeah, excuse me, Tom Rickard. This is something that's generally been in place. I think the highest it's ever been was 55 or 60%. The 50% has been requested from Metro West and the municipalities year after year. It's basically a way, as Heidi mentioned, a way to ensure that if there are changes, the deltas in traffic and in land use over that 5-year time period, that you're able to take a look at that. So there's a couple protections in place. One is in the ITE, the technical travel and trip generation. We take a look at using the average, but the 50% then is on top of that. So it does give significant discounts to the developer, but it also protects any chances if a developer decides that they want to contest something and they go through the court process. We have the ability to show significant discounts and deltas in various changes that might occur over time.
The second
Mr.
question,
Caius?
second part of that was something, and it'll come back to me in just a second.
Yeah.
Let me do that part. I think it was in 2022, we did do this and as part of the 50% plan, and kudos to staff, I believe at the time, I don't know if it was Jackie Forbes or who, but did the whole plan where we do give those discounts for if you put it next to a bike trail, or if you improve the way access to people can get to work, or I think it was it turned into more than just a club, like, oh, you have to pay your money. It was like, okay, if you want to help with the community and help with the transportation and alternate transportation, put it next to a train station or where the rail can get in as opposed to trucks.
Yeah.
That was all taken into account, and I think it was a really big improvement at the time. And it plays really well, I think.
I was just going to add that these lead components are something that we've always tried to do through the beginning of the whole process. We even, I think about 20 years ago, were invited to a national conference to speak about how we're trying to encourage smart growth. And so we do try to encourage developers to locate along transit lines, bike trails. We do try to encourage mixed use, because that helps to reduce trips. So there's a number of factors that we've tried to encourage, and we have every 5 years, we've enhanced that a little bit better. And so it is a strong component of smart growth.
Kudos.
Mr. Gripe, I see you hiding among the staff over there.
Yes, sir. Makes me feel smarter in this case. Thanks. I appreciate this. And if I'm not mistaken, the 2040 transit plan, it had a traffic study that's like 14 years old already. So updating any of this stuff. But my question is, how big does a development have to be to get on the radar? The reason I ask is in my neighborhood, there's a 2-house development, not going to generate a lot of traffic, but I'm wondering at what point they appear.
Sure. We are trying to capture every single new development. So a single house would qualify. Now you could also qualify for some discounts if you are infill, if you are in a transit-oriented development or a lead ND area, but we try to capture each new development, whether it's commercial, industrial, warehouse, housing, and there's a monthly process where we reach out to the municipalities and FOIA their building permits and review to see if we've missed anything.
Thank you.
Just if I could add to that, we have this saying, a trip is a trip is a trip. Every trip has a cost.
Mhm.
And the impact fee ordinance actually shows the cost per trip. So each land use, a single family home, might produce on average 9 or 10 trips. And so there's a cost associated with those 9 or 10 trips. As land use increases into a commercial or a mixed use, we assess all those different types of land use, and what they pay for is that trip or trips that they create. And so everybody is treated with equity and fairness across the board, because each trip has the same cost for each individual service area. So the service areas, the 3 service areas might have slight differences. Like a single family home might be $1,200 or $1,300 with slight differences for a single family home.
Sorry, who? Oh, Mr. Doherty. Thank you. Mr. Doherty?
Thank you. Tom, just real quick, you said 9 or 10 trips per, what, did I miss it?
No, he was, go ahead.
Per single family home. A single family home on average is about 9 or 10 trips. If you go to like a duplex, that decreases a little bit more to 6 or 7 trips. So it all depends on the type of housing. And this is where some of that delta factor comes into play. One of the reasons the county board reduces the impact fee collected by a certain percentage is to take into account some derivation from your typical average.
No, I'm sorry, Tom, I didn't ask the question right. 9 or 10, so a single family home will generate 9 or 10 trips per day, week, month?
I'm sorry, per day, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other comments? Roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Guys, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Doherty,
Doherty, yes.
Pepe.
Steffi, yes.
Great, thank you. Next resolution up is approving an intergovernmental agreement for transportation planning activities with Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning. The Council of Mayors has passed a resolution authorizing and requesting that Kane County Division of Transportation continues after decades to provide these services. We provide services for Kane and Kendall, the counties and the municipalities to oversee implementation of transportation projects and that are federally funded. Staff recommends approval of this contract.
Motion
Roth
and
will
second.
make the motion.
Leonard will second.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Berman,
Yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Caius,
Guys, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Doherty,
Doherty, yes.
Pepe.
Zippy, yes.
Passes.
On to permitting. Doris?
Hello, good morning. So our monthly permitting report is in your packet along with those additional charts. If you have any questions, I will try to answer those. Otherwise, we'll move on to our first resolution.
I'm sorry.
Okay, hearing no
Resolution?
questions or comments, we'll move on to our first resolution. That is approving an intergovernmental agreement between the County of Kane and the Village of Algonquin. It is for stormwater management basin alteration and maintenance.
Okay.
Caius would move.
Mr. Caius moves.
Williams seconds.
Williams second. Discussion, please. Or no discussion. Roll call, please.
Berman,
Yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Doherty,
Doherty, yes.
Pepe.
Zippy, yes. Okay, your next resolution?
Our second resolution is for approving a temporary write-in and write-out construction access to Kirk Road in the city of Geneva, and staff recommends approval.
Can I have
A
a
mo-
motion and a second?
Roth will make the
Moves.
motion. Berman second.
Berman seconds. Any discussion? Roll call,
Yes.
please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Caius,
Guys, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Doherty,
Doherty, yes.
Zippy, yes. And
Okay.
next,
So yes, our last item for the permitting department is the Randall Road and Village of Algonquin intergovernment agreement. It will be an amendment, and this is for discussion only regarding the concept. So I will bring up the image. There is an existing right-in to a large development on the west side of Randall Road. And the Village of Carpentersville had approached Kane County requesting if we could potentially consider looking at adding a right out. I think there might be one more photo in here. So there is existing pavement already for the right into this development, which is north of Miller Road. And now they're asking if Kane County could look at a right out. Since this is a limited access freeway, we're just looking for your feedback and entertain any discussion to proceed with this concept.
okay, just go ahead.
Yeah, if I can just add a little bit more to this, we do have a current intergovernmental agreement with the village regarding access at this location. At the time, this was decades ago that it was approved, and basically write-in, write-outs were highly discouraged by the county board. Staff has, over decades, has encouraged the use of write-in, write-outs if they meet appropriate spacing. This is a situation where the write-in was approved by the county board, again, probably 30-some years ago. The write-out meets the spacing requirement in the regulations that were adopted by the county board. And so the developer and property owners are trying to figure out if we can proceed forward. As Doris mentioned, the current intergovernmental agreement has a write-in only. And so for staff to move forward and discuss the write-out aspects, which again meets the spacing criteria, we're able to then start working on it if we get consensus from the committee. And so that's what we're here for, is to, at the request of the Village of Carpentersville, as well as the property owners is to get your consensus to start working on the appropriate engineering as well as update to the intergovernmental agreement. And so that's why this is before you, is just to get consensus to proceed forward before we do any work, since it is a county board approval that's required.
Okay, if I can ask in a slightly different way. If you get consensus to move ahead with the work, you will come back here with a resolution getting approval, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so does anybody have any concerns about this or anything they want to discuss? Guys,
Just to double check on this one, that it does meet what the KDOT, IDOT parameters for a safe exit and entrance between intersections. Because I know that we just passed one recently that I was concerned about safety on.
Yeah,
This one is considered
this
within
one,
those parameters.
this is within the adopted county board parameters.
The KDOT County Board.
Well, the regulations were adopted by the county board, and we do our best to ensure that we're very rarely coming to you with variances.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Williams,
Is this spurred by a proposed development to the south of the McDonald's? We see a site plan here.
I think something's already there.
So was an existing fast food establishment that currently is
This is
gone
at,
out of business.
Oh.
Or,
But
so-
there's a structure where that site plan, that building plan is. South of the McDonald's.
The gray.
Right, correct. That's an existing building. It's not occupied at the moment. And so there is a person looking to come into that space. The Village of Carpentersville had approached them saying, we really would like to entertain putting a right out in this location, which would impact, I guess, some of their easement around. And that particular new establishment that is coming in there is very agreeable to allow this easement for this right out access.
yeah, but
Uh,
Mr. Williams, that would come under the auspices of the city of Carpentersville, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is probably why they're asking us to amend the IGA, which I don't have a problem with for the record, so.
Okay. Mr. Caius,
And then I haven't heard of this before, so is the green lines extend farther to the west there. Will they be improving that intersection and the rest of that road? It'll have to be widened because it's pretty narrow right now, right? That's all up to the village though.
Yeah.
So if you're speaking about the triangular section, we
Right.
consider that a center median. Sorry, I'll try to speak into this. Not the center, the triangle section is a median that helps guide vehicles entering and exiting.
Right.
To stay
Yep.
in their lane.
I was actually referring to the other end, which is the west end. That's all Al Carpentersville and their development.
Correct. That is all part of that.
I think it'll.
Mr. Rickard,
so it will, both the throat there, the roadway, as well as the easement will both be widened in order to accommodate the vehicles, trucks and vehicles that come in and out.
Mr. Gray,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The median, the green median, I'm curious how that's going to be designed, because I have seen people do the stupid left turn into a right turn only to come out on the left kind of thing. How do we keep people from?
So I understand, Mr. Gripe, but I am one of those that will go the wrong way. So to stop people such as myself, there is a 300-foot long barrier median that will be placed within the striped out area of Randall Road that extends 100 feet to the north of that triangular green section and 150 feet to the south.
Mr. Roth.
Just a question. Do we need a motion for this one?
No, we do not. We
Okay,
just
that's why
kind
I'm
of need
asking. Thank you.
Consensus.
All right, thank you.
And this will then proceed ahead and we'll come back.
As
with
a resolution, that I understood. All right, thank you.
And so we'll just rediscuss it then.
All right.
Mr. Caius.
Last but not least, we go to the coffee shop for the Rotary Club just down on the lower corner there. So I go there weekly. I'll be there tomorrow morning using that very intersection. I think it's it was a good idea for that business.
Okay,
So
you inviting us or?
you just do a verbal then, approval, or do we have to vote?
I just think
See
we've
objection.
expressed our concerns and I'm sure they'll,
Okay.
And you've got a
Bates,
consensus.
please. Bates, please.
oh, Bates, Ms. Bates.
Yes.
Morning.
I think it's better. I don't like it when you can get into a place, but you can't get out. So I approve. In, out, in and out.
You.
You're welcome.
Let's move on. Traffic operations. Joe.
Am I on? Yes.
Yeah.
Nothing in particular to bring up. Just wanted to mention that we are proceeding with some upgrades. About 98% of the streetlights in the county are now LED. So we have proceeded with that. We recently replaced about 7 of our cameras on our arterials. So we're able to monitor operations and conditions out there. And we also have a project currently under design to provide a redundant connection to the arterial operations center to help ensure that we're able to monitor and change our traffic signals.
All right. Any other comments, questions? All right, thank you. Project implementation, Jennifer.
Good morning. I want to mention that we have a public meeting coming up for our Galligan Road, Freeman Road to Binney Road project. It'll be held June 24th. So we'll include further details for that public information meeting at June's Transportation Committee. The PM for that project is Colleen Jaltuk of our office. She's here in attendance today. I'll move on to construction photos unless we have some questions. In these photos here, you'll see that crews are still out at Long Meadow Parkway, completing landscaping obligations.
10,000 trees, right? That the last of the 10,000 trees?
6,800 trees, but we're gonna plant 7,000 just in case for some mitigation. We're gonna begin our contract to work on that soon. Photos slide number 2 here is showing the LaFox Road pedestrian underpass tunnel, and KDOT will be making repairs to that underpass tunnel this summer. And here is the Kesslinger Road box culvert, which KDOT will begin modifications to next month. These photos are showing the Bunker Road Extension project, and this will be a 2-season construction project for this roadway realignment and roundabout. And Martam, our contractor, should be starting that project shortly. And this final slide shows installation of our new recessed reflective pavement markers. Over 35 miles worth of these new RRPMs have been installed so far. These RRPMs are 90% federally funded and a highly requested safety feature on our roads.
And they're new and improved?
They're newly installed, and yes. So we've applied for HSIP funding and received federal funding to implement. We're hoping at least 50 miles worth of new RRPMs implemented this summer.
Yes. What?
Our first resolution is approving an agreement with an amendment with CMT for the Doberman Road to Meredith Road realignment project. Due to delays in information gathering during COVID, the county would like to extend the terms of this agreement by 3 years with a new termination date of December 31st, 2027. No change in appropriation amount is requested at this time. Staff recommends approval.
Roth make the motion.
Okay, Mr. Roth.
Leonard
Motion.
seconds.
Leonard second. Any discussion?
Next up, we have
Seeing none, roll call, please.
Herman, thank you. Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Caius,
Yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Doherty,
Or yes.
Pepe.
Thank you. Now,
Sorry about that. Next up, we have a resolution to approve an amendment to Phase One Engineering Services Agreement with Baxter and Woodman for the Galligan Road from Freeman Road to Binney Road. In 2021, staff completed the QBS process to select Baxter and Woodman, and during preliminary design, IDOT required additional crash analysis, additional intersection alternatives analysis, and additional drainage analysis that we were not expecting. This amendment provides necessary funds for the additional Phase One engineering services required by IDOT. We'd also like to extend the terms of this agreement with a new termination date of April 30th, 2026. Staff recommends approval of an additional $90,901 to be added to the existing agreement and the new term extension.
may I have a motion and a second to discuss?
Caius move.
Caius moves,
Leonard will second.
Leonard seconds. Mr. Leonard.
Yes, just one question. Jennifer, with respect to the $90,901 additional dollars on the engineering, is there any liability on the engineering firm's part for this?
There is. We have a pretty robust scope, especially in these Phase One preliminary designs, because we know that IDOT's requests of us will be unpredictable. And when we began Phase One engineering for this project, one of our alternatives, our preferred alternative, was to include roundabouts at both Freeman and Binney. And IDOT requested some additional traffic data. They disagreed with our preliminary preferred alternative. They required us to design multi-lane roundabouts at this location. We expressed to IDOT that the multi-lane roundabout is not something that KDOT is willing to consider at this time. We've found success with single lane roundabouts, but we have not yet implemented a multi-lane roundabout. We don't think that this location would be a good location for that. So then IDOT required us to design signalized intersections at both intersections. We moved forward with that. In time, after seeing our intersection design study for the signals, IDOT agreed that a roundabout would be a better choice. We moved back to the roundabout design. That is our preferred design originally. So while our consultant has been very flexible and helping us along through this process with these additional designs, it did start to fall outside of their scope. And that's why we're here asking for additional money today.
And I get the distinct impression IDOT's not going to pay the difference.
No.
Thank you.
Disturbing. Mr. Williams.
So I think my question was just answered, but IDOT's funding a portion of this project.
IDOT is not funding a portion.
But why do they have a say in how we design a county highway?
This project will utilize federal funds. We do have to process through IDOT. So we do have to obtain their approvals along every step of our process, even here in Phase One during preliminary design. We cannot move on to a Phase Two without their approval on our project development report as the end result of a Phase One.
Will the federal funds flow through IDOT to us?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll be looking for federal funds on the construction phase. On the Phase One part of the project, it's always locally funded. So we have to pay something up front to do that. And then as we get to construction, that's when we'll seek federal funding.
It's like this. Anyway, roll call, please. Pardon?
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Williams, Doherty,
Yes.
Pepe.
Except yes. Next.
Upon further analysis, KDOT requests that Resolution D be pulled from today's agenda. Staff is exploring alternate ways to finish this landscaping work at the Doberman Road Extension Project without this supplement request. We'd like to remove this resolution from the agenda.
Mr. Williams, that is good news. Okay. All right. Next resolution.
Yes. On April 29th, 3 bids were opened at KDOT for the Kane County Resurfacing #2 project, which includes milling and resurfacing of various roads throughout Kane County. The lowest qualified bid of $4,634,773 and change was submitted by Curran. After a review, it was determined the bid did not meet guidelines set forth within the RBO. The bid was then reviewed and is in compliance with the remaining sections of the Kane County Purchasing Ordinance. Staff recommends approval.
Roth will make the motion.
Mr. Roth moves.
Caius second.
Mr. Caius second. Any discussion? Mr. Caius.
Yes, it was in public comment, I believe, someone commented that we had, because of the RBO, and this doesn't qualify for the RBO, we're spending more money. To your knowledge at this point, Mike, have we spent extra money, or Tom? And missed contracts, had to go to a higher contract or spend more money because of the RBO is the way it stands?
We're generally seeing the exact same bidders, post or in RBO as we were before the RBO. So,
Oh.
we're not
No,
really charging.
no
it,
extra expense.
Not that we're noticing.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? Mr. Leonard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just one comment on that. I think Mr. Tomzak's response to that was perfectly correct. However, if we're not getting any additional bidders, all these people comply with the RBO. Yes.
And that was built into the way that we wrote it, was that if they didn't comply, then they were accepted. It was able to accept it without extra expense.
Mr. Rickard.
Yeah, I was just going to add a little bit more to it. With our contractors, it's a little bit different than potentially some of the other contractors within the county. With our contractors, they have to meet certain state qualifications. And so generally our different contracts that we're sending through, we're still meeting the appropriate state qualifications. So it's going to be potentially a little bit different. I don't know about the other departments, but with ours, we have those requirements that we're following through with.
Okay. Anything? Let's do a roll call, please.
Berman,
Yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Caius,
Guys, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Doherty,
Yes.
Pepe.
Seppi, yes.
Passes.
Yes.
I just wanted to mention that Long Meadow Parkway was awarded the Chicago chapter of the Construction Management Association of America Infrastructure Award for projects less than $25 million, just another trophy on our mantle. So,
Oh, great. Thank you. Okay, may I have a motion?
Roth will motion that we do unanimous approval of putting the reports on
I'll
file.
ask for unanimous consent to replace reports on file. Any objection? Okay. I'm very sorry to announce, I do not believe we need an executive session,
Oh,
so
darn it.
sorry to put that on the agenda and have you think about it. Okay. Any new business? Mr. Great.
Thank you, sir. It's not new business per se, but it's just FYI, it's transportation related. I just found out about this, that the General Assembly is putting through a new sales tax proposal for primarily the RTA that will increase and place new taxes that have never been charged before on Netflix, streaming services, rideshare services like Uber and Lyft, gym memberships, barbershops, beauty salons, car washes, car repair, plumbing, electrical, and other repair, and lawn care and landscaping. Not as if Illinois has highest taxes already, but you might want to, apparently this is being pushed through before the end of May. So if you don't like paying additional taxes on everything you do to bail out the RTA, you might want to let your representative or senator or both know.
Okay. Roth will make a motion, we adjourn.
In favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.